Is Avril Lavigne a clone? Did Paul McCartney die in a car crash? Is Katy Perry really a famous murder victim? Are you really you? Or are you a clone? Do you even have a belly button? Don't check. They might be watching. My name is Ingrid and welcome to Creepo-Files. Each episode I find something that freaks me out or shocks my socks off, and we learn just enough about it to be dangerous. Maybe you do know you aren't you because you're an imposter, tricking everyone with your plastic surgery and abnormally good looks. Today we investigate 3 cases of alternate identity: Avril Lavigne, Paul McCartney, and Katy Perry. All people we know so well, or do we? Are they who they claim they are? Don't answer me, I can't hear you. But please do hear my content warning that themes of death explored in this episode may be upsetting. Unless you're a clone missing chromosomes, in which case you don't get sad, you just lick other people's ice creams.
Avril Lavigne.
In the early 2000s, when genes were low and so were chances that that little war was just about freedom fries, an alternative beauty appeared on the music scene and our square TV screens. Lavigne was just 17, if you know what I mean. No, I don't know what you mean, John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Why don't you explain that lyric to the group? Seemingly overnight, Avril went from an unknown kid in Canada to the pop punker wearing your dad's tie on the face of Rolling Stone. Her debut album, Let Go, sold over 16 million copies, making it the best-selling album by a Canadian artist in the 21st century. Which may leave you asking, what about Nickelback? What about Nickelback, Chad? But every rise has its fall, and for Avril, it came much faster than she expected, with the intensity of fame proving too hard to handle. She requested a body double take her place for public appearances, and this is when the pre-, mid- and post-pubescent public unknowingly got to know Melissa Vandella. The genuine branded Avril and her Gucci knockoff toured together, Melissa engaging with fans and photogs while Avril kept her energy for singing in a singlet. Over the tour, Avril taught actor Melissa how to sing her songs, but the dark clouds were gathering, Avril's mind unraveling, and on a dark night in the year of our Lord 2003, the pop-punk princess, shredded by the grief of her parents' impending divorce, ended her life. I have to spell it out so YouTube doesn't get angry. They're a mad dad. Her label Arista Records panicked at the news of the young star's death, and with so many Yankee Doodle dollars and Canuck bucks on the table, the decision was made to turn Melissa Vandella from decoy into the real McCoy. Oh no. That's not good. I just spilled it on me. From this moment on, Melissa lived, performed, and swept up awards as Avril. How did we not notice? Why were we so blind? Oh yeah, we were probably too busy looking down at our abdomens and religiously removing hair like a bouncer kicks 15-year-olds out of a bar just so we could wear hipster jeans for boys with frosted tips to wink at us. I have some regrets. It's not sticky yet, but I know it's gonna be sticky. Oh no. Melissa went into the booth and recorded the new album, Under My Skin, which she filled with clues and apparent messages about the love and loss of her namesake. In Slipped Away, she apparently sings about leaving or removing something, which turned her fans sus. And with that level of detail and specificity, what other conclusion would they come to? 1 year later, and the rumour mill was in full swing, or full spin. Avril's physical appearance had changed, and listeners were finding subliminal messages in songs. Young androgynous Avril only wanted to wear skater clothes, while Melissa is frequently seen in gowns. She even changed her hair part. And as we've learned from the Jamie Lynn Spears hair part gate, you can't just make hair grow from a different spot on your head like that. The sound changed too. Avril's music was pop punk, Melissa's is punk pop. Okay, these are all explainable differences. You want more disturbing proof? Do ya? Avril's height is currently 5 feet and 1 inch tall, but in 2002 she was 5'2". Is Melissa taller, or did Avril just sell her soul to the devil for a hit? Gonna make my shoe audience happy. 3 legs. I'm a tripod. And what about her handwriting? Well, that changed as well, but not to match that of the letters from the Zodiac, who still hasn't been caught. Neither Avril Lavigne nor Melissa Vandella are suspects at this time. And just to ice this paranoia cake and sprinkle on some freckles, freckles actually disappeared from Avril. Her skin changed, her nose narrowed out, her eye angle is different, and Avril's pitch of voice went up instead of down like what usually happens. Benjamin Button-Nose aging. How very death becomes her. But who in the Canadian HE double ice hockey sticks is Melissa Vandella? An actor, they say. Then why isn't she on IMDb like I am? Am I an actor? Or am I just acting like an actor? Nor does she appear anywhere on Google or social media. Pics or it didn't happen. Oh, there is a pic. One of the most damning pieces of evidence is a photo shoot where Avril posed with Melissa written on her hand. God knows when I'm worried I'll forget something like my name, I write it on my hand. On the website avrilestmuerte.com, no such website. Wait, where did it go? It had all the theories explored, photos pointing out changes like missing birthmarks and tattoos. Did someone have the site taken down? What are they trying to hide? Oh yeah, that Avril Lavigne has been dead 2 decades and a doppelganger lives in her place. Oh no, I just spelled it wrong. Aprendiendo español, lo siento. On avrilestmuerte.com, many of the photos are missing, but those that remain show the difference between Avril 1's features and Avril 2's. Avril denies not being herself, but isn't that what imposters say? Melissa has lived as Avril for 19 years, longer than the real Avril was alive. If an imposter outlives the person they impost, does that make them more of the real thing by percentage? If you replace all the planks of a ship over time, is it still the same ship? Does that make Avril a schooner and Melissa a yacht? Don't be stupid, they're girls, not boats. Stop comparing women to objects. Avril married and divorced the lead singer of Nickelback when apparently Avril had told friends earlier that she hated Nickelback. Was Melissa secretly a Nickelbottom? I don't know what the name for a Nickelback fan is. Nippleback? Most disturbing is, why would Avril's parents have gone along with this? Have they been silenced? Current Avril has the same teeth, same vocal tics, same looks, and almost appears to be the very same person as 2003 Avril. I'm gonna need proof that she is Melissa Vandella, and I'm gonna need proof that she is the real thing. Right now, she's Schrodinger's Lavigne. In the bellowed words of Avril herself, all this time you were pretending, so much for my happy ending. Oh, 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 oh.
Clone quiz, baby, clone quiz.
What year was the first clone that we know of, Dolly the sheep, cloned? Was it 1979, 1997, or 2025? If you answered, where is the Potter's field where all the early mutated experiments in cloning are buried, you need to stop asking questions, bro. You're putting us all in danger. Miscellaneous American celebrity Tila Tequila said on Twitter that Hillary Clinton is a clone, and she herself, Tila, already got killed in 2012.
Paul McCartney.
It's 1966. The Soviets have parked on the moon. The #1 movie is The Bible, apparently based off a book. Haven't read it. And teen heartthrob Paul McCartney is in a life-changing or life-ending car crash. But Paul is out on tour now, so surely he's okay. How he is isn't the question, but whom? Who? Whom? On a dark and snowing night in London in the mid-1960s, bassist and singer Paul McCartney stormed out of a Beatles recording session, climbed into his car, but did not make it home. Mysterious lyrics, subliminal messaging, album imagery, and the reveal of a Paul doppelganger all weave a dark and paranoid tale of the death of one of the world's most famous men and his secret replacement. What did Ringo do? It was a fight with him that caused Paul to storm out of Abbey Road Studios, or EMI Studios. Info on this is conflicting. And into the white night. Paul got behind the wheel of his Austin Healey, and through those dark morning hours he drove. But then he saw a woman by the side of the road. This was no weather for someone to be out in. He pulled over and offered the young woman a ride. Her name was Rita. Little did Rita know this would be the last car ride she ever took. They say that fame goes to your head, but in Paul's case, he lost his entirely, or so at least sources say, beheaded in a nightmare slide from the icy road's lazy grip and into the cold arms of death. Revolver had only just come out. The 60s were blooming, and so was Paul's future. He was only in his mid-20s. It's hard to imagine now that women don't pee themselves down the aisles by the thousands at the sight of a boy going woo, just how big the Beatles were. Apparently even bigger than the star of that Bible movie. If news had broke that a Beatle died, there would have been riots around the world. Men flipping over admittedly small cars, women stuffing their soggy undies into bottles and hurling them as Molotov cocktails, children watching on and sighing, "Okay, boomer." Are boomers the last wet underwear generation? It's so weird to think this story occurs at the beginning of Generation X. The oldest Gen Xers are now 58, 59. That's like almost an adult. I wonder how anyone knew that Paul picked up Rita as a hitchhiker if neither survived the accident. Did Rita really die? Lovely Rita, meter maid? Was the Beetle dead? Or just on its back somewhere needing someone to flip it over?
So immediately after Jim's passing, was there a funeral of any sorts?
No. First of all, there was rumors of McCartney dying, and we thought, well, I don't know, and told the manager to go over on the weekend to Paris and check it out. And then then we get the message, yeah, Jim's died and we buried him. Whoa, that was quick.
You said McCartney.
I said that because there were rumors of
The Paul is dead.
Paul is dead. And so we sort of thought, yeah, well,
okay,
you go over and let us know. And he let us know it was true, and he buried him. Whoa, holy shit.
It wasn't until 1969 that word spread that Paul had been replaced by Fall, fake Paul. It was a week before Abbey Road was set to be released, and a student newspaper for Drake University printed an article telling us the truth. Paul was dead, and they'd found the clues. As we all know, the juiciest exposés come out of Iowa. The Beatles' press office was deluged with calls, fans and media frantically requesting an update on Paul's health. Then the media struck again, this time a Michigan student paper. Who is letting these kids learn how to write? The article had satirical content, but literal reception. It was titled, "McCartney Dead, New Evidence Brought to Light." The article's author many years later confessed to having pulled the facts out of his listening hole, which just shows you can never trust writers. These embellishments added to the buried body of evidence that is, to this day, still exhumed for re-examination and reanimation by idiots like me. The 60s were ending and the world knew what was or was not true. Paul's dead, Dave. Everybody's dead. This all has to be true. Fake news didn't exist until 2017. Some believe Capitol Records started the rumour to sell records, because that's exactly what it did. Capitol denies it. What else are they denying? They won't say. Some opine the British security service MI5 advised the band to get a new Paul to prevent riots and mass suicide. A Paul McCartney lookalike competition was hosted, and the winner was a Scottish lad, an orphan by the name of William Shears Campbell, aka Billy Shears. A bit of plastic surgery to match things up, a few music lessons later, and they had their Paul #2. And though the world had been fooled, and for a full 3 years before word spread, the other members of the band were in on it, and deeply not okay. John Lennon, Ringo Starr and George Harrison were all so sodden with guilt, they started hiding secret messages in the music and album artwork. So let's look at these clues that Paul is dead, shall we? On the Abbey Road cover, Paul wears no shoes. Dead men don't wear shoes. The photo is a funeral procession. George dressed as the gravedigger, Ringo the undertaker in black, and John is the priest in white chocolate. In the documentary Paul McCartney is Really Dead, The Last Testament of George Harrison, the album cover spells out, "Here lies Paul." Even George Harrison, free of the confines of the band, called Paul Fall. On the Sgt. Pepper's album cover, you'll find a bonanza of hidden messages. The entire tableau looks like a funeral memorial, the sea of flowers and faces of the dead. A hand is over Paul's head. If you hold a mirror up to the drum skin, Lonely Hearts, a secret phrase appears beneath the surviving members. I1IX 119. He die, with the arrow pointing at the imposter. 119, the 9th day of the 11th month, the day that Paul died? If you're American and write your dates like a cute, confused person. Paul has his back turned to the camera. Was he healing from plastic surgery? Or it's just another clue that the real Paul is gone? On the back cover, George knowingly points at a lyric. Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock as the day begins. The 9th of November, 1966, was a Wednesday. A doll sits in the corner of the front cover, beside it a bloody driving glove. In the doll's lap sits a colliding toy car, white, the model of Paul's vehicle, and the inside is red. The guitar made of flowers is left-handed, Paul being the only lefty in the band. Quite a tribute to someone who is allegedly still alive. In the Magical Mystery Tour, all the band members wear a red carnation on their lapel, except Paul, whose flower is black. The evidence is mounting, like the bulldog on my leg at that one job interview at Kirby Vacuums in 2001. I was trying to get a job, and so was the dog. What about the secret messages in their songs? Everyone knows rock and roll is the devil's music, trying to lure the youth into the frotaging vegan fromage pansexual communist agenda. In the song Glass Onion, John Lennon sings, "The walrus was Paul." Walrus is Greek for corpse. The corpse was Paul. I'm not making this up. Somebody else already did. Revolution 9, when played in reverse, chants the phrase, "Turn me on, dead man." Gibberish lyrics sung by John at the end of I'm So Tired gain startling clarity when played backwards too. Paul is dead man, miss him, miss him, miss him. In the track Strawberry Fields, John's voice appears again with a stark admission. I buried Paul. What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold, and it's about to get more chilling. Paul McCartney's appearance changed, and not in ways that a car crash could explain away. Let's play Paul versus Paul! Paul, brown eyes. Paul, green eyes. Paul, small pudgy toes. Paul, long bony toes. Paul, John liked him. Paul, didn't like her, can't believe it's not Paul. A lefty. Paul, a righty. Paul. Did I win? Paul's moped crash in 1965, which left him with a chipped tooth and upper lip scar, has been pointed to as an excuse for new plastic surgery scarring, which doesn't make any sense because that occurred 1 year before the fatal crash. One YouTube commenter wrote, "Folks, he died. The taller, lankier Billy Shears moved into his place and Beatlemania went on. It was a business decision." Despite many different physical characteristics that are blatantly obvious to most, the ones who can't accept the truth will never see it. It's very sad that people are so codependent that it will alter their reality. Sure thing, buddy. But who the heck is the current Paul, if it isn't the original model? Was William Billy Shears a real person? Was he Canadian or Scottish? An orphan? A musical genius in his own right? We may never know. There are so many more clues deciphered from Beatles covers, video songs, and lunch orders, but I don't think we need those. We've seen enough. Paul is clearly buried in the Strawberry Fields Cemetery in Blackpool, and one of these days, right before his own death, Paul will come clean and tell the world the truth, that he snuck a cheeseburger here or there. Naughty vegan. As someone commented on YouTube, even if he is dead, he still makes great music.
Is this the real life?
Here's something ripped from the pages of reality. What if your doppelganger committed a crime and you went to prison for it. Here is a man. No, here is two men. One named Richard, the other named Ricardo. These men are not related. One committed robbery, the other got fingered for it. They later met in prison and boy, that must have been one hell of a Scooby-Doo moment. The innocent man was able to convince the judge of his innocence and be freed. Together, they make a row of cornrows. This is surely motivation for people to stop trying to look the same. Aww, but you're unique, you tell me. Yeah. A hard-earned fake needs a hard-earned break. This Creepo-Files is brought to you by Mr. X, an anonymous viewer who wished to remain anonymously anonymated. Mr. X kindly gifted the channel this RGB light I totally forgot to use while shooting. So thank you, Creepo fan. If you too would like to be thanked in a video, check out my Amazon gift wish list linked below. You'll help me keep going until this channel gets monetized in about 57 years. Breaking news. The breastfeeding groom video has reached 400,000 views. Every day, thousands of people are searching enriching terms like boobs milk and man drink from girl chest. I'm traumatized and still 57 years away from monetization. You'd better share this doppelganger episode with a friend so the algorithm stops thinking my target audience are young men with 4 rows of milk teeth. Subscribe now.
Mythology.
Alter egos and double spirits have appeared in folklore, myths, and religions of many cultures throughout human history, according to Wikipedia. The term doppelganger comes from German, meaning double goer, not to be mistaken with Wildpinkler, Wackeldackel, or the very serious Dudelsack. I love German. It makes me so glücklich. In ancient Egyptian mythology, a car was a physical spirit double, sharing the same memories and feelings as the person it derived from. And this soul mirror also appears in Greek, Norse, and Finnish mythology. The Victorian era so obsessed with the macabre. Remember, these are people who held mummy unwrapping parties. Also saw its fair share of paranormal lookalikes. And in Ireland, it was long believed babies were stolen by fairies and replaced with a sickly fae child known as a changeling. Although a doppelganger is a biologically unrelated lookalike, or a double of a living person, it ironically has been known to signal death. English and German folklore tells that seeing your own double 3 times could mean the Grim Reaper is lurking nearby, waiting, texting, "You up?" From this ungodly phenomena of it's all just silly superstition anyway. You can't believe anything out of my mouth because it's not my mouth. And neither are celebrity mouths, except when they're real. Real celebrities, that is, not real mouths. All mouths are real, except ones you buy from adult shops. Before we get on to the final doppelganger of this episode, Katy Perry, let me tell you about a whole bunch of other stars who seem to be the doppelganger. Matthew McConaughey, Civil War guy. Keanu Reeves, Louis Maurice Butte. Alec Baldwin, Mila Fillmore. Maggie Gyllenhaal, Rose Wilder Lane. Nicolas Cage, Civil War era man. Orlando Bloom, Nikolai Grigorsky. Mark Zuckerberg, Philip IV. Queen Latifah, Zora Neale Hurston. Jimmy Fallon, Mahia Kayen. Ingrid from Creepo-Vision, silent film starlet. Peter Dinklage, Diego Velázquez Portrait of Sebastian de Morat. Sly Stallone, Pope Gregory IX. Justin Timberlake, old-timey criminal. John Travolta, unknown 1800s guy. Mick Jagger, a blobfish. Subscribe before the real you gets back.
Katy Perry.
Kate Hudson is both the daughter of actress Goldie Hawn and musician Bill Hudson, and also the sequin-clad shill of Satan, according to people on the internet. That's because one goes by Kate Hudson and the other goes by Katy Perry, but they aren't the Dopplers of this tale. Oh my god, what is a Doppler? Is that a weather doohickey? Why is this script full of words? I only like scripts with lots of pictures. Anyway, Katy Perry, who totally stole her style of moi, she started kissing girls after I kissed a girl. I made up kissing girls. She got famous. I got a cold sore. So KP goes ahead and changes her name, right? So she wouldn't get mixed up with the actress. And because Kate Dingleberry was taken. Ingrid wrote that. I mean, me. I wrote that. I am the me. Born in 1984 in Santa Barbara, California, the pop singer learned guitar as a teen. Ugh, way to show off your opposable thumbs. You have hand privilege. Look, what I lack in fingers, I make up for in mouth girth. Stop interrupting me. So, as I was saying, Katy Perry failed in Nashville, or as we call it, Nasho, before revamping herself and hitting the big time. But is that true? No cap? Lit Fam 100? Or just a cover story? Because, according to many, Katy Perry is really... Excuse me, but can't you see I'm shooting my cry for attention here?
Hi, I'm Ingrid.
That's so weird. I'm Ingrid too.
Well, then we have a problem.
Oh. Do you have a cold sore as well?
No, Ingrid 2. This is Highlander. There can only be one.
Oh, look at the time. Gotta remove all this pilling so man puppets find me attractive. Which is weird that they're so picky because they clearly stuff their crotches. And limbs. And bodies. And heads.
Get out! What was I saying before I was so rudely impostonated? Oh yes. Is Katy Perry's background story true or just a cover story? Because according to many, Katy Perry is really JonBenet Ramsey. Yep, strap in. BT dubs, I'm not making any of this up. These are actual conspiracies out there. And I can't make up what has already been made up. So it's up to you to decide. Up. JonBenet Ramsey was a child beauty queen whose death and the mystery surrounding it rocked the entire globe. JonBenet was murdered in 1996. Katy Perry didn't appear in the public consciousness until 2008, with her musical declaration of enjoying making face babies with another girl. Ooh. Although calling a 24-year-old woman a girl is just weird. This whole thing is. There's a 6-year age difference between Katy and JonBenet. JonBenet was born in Georgia, Katy in California. But it's easy to fake being from California. You just need to ask for no fat avocado. If you
Look at this photograph.
you will see their uncanny physical likenesses. Can you tell the difference between Katy and JonBenet? Or do white people all look the same to you? They do to me. They really do. Katy's father, a renowned preacher, has called his daughter the devil. She started out as a Christian singer, but didn't stay on the path of the Lord. And you know what a secular singer is like. Pazuzu and fishnets. Katy's parents are Pastor Keith Hudson and Mary Perry.
Mary Perry, Mary Perry, Mary Perry.
I said that 3 times in the mirror at midnight, and a church mom showed up behind me and whispered that flossing is dental intercourse. Here you are watching video of a woman on YouTube doing a tarot reading to divine if Katy is JonBenet. And before you poo-poo tarot, remember the cards are made from paper, which are made from trees. And trees are our oldest living ancestors, forever watching us, holding the wisdom of the planet. They are also notorious gossips and whisper anytime the wind blows. But how can Katy Perry be JonBenet Ramsey when Lady Gaga is JonBenet Ramsey? Check out the controvertible truth in this flyer by wellaware1.com, the website and person the 1%ers are afraid of. I cover that conspiracy in a video I will never make. What happened to this 6-year-old child was true horror, and there is nothing funny or trivial about the assault and murder of children. But there is plenty funny about Katy Perry. If you're a fan of Katy Perry, I'm sorry. Do better. Not only are people saying that JonBenet grew up and secretly became Katy Perry, but she's also now a shill for the Illuminati. Hi, boys. The original video exposing the connection is nowhere to be found, which makes you, if you were me and you're not, so stop pretending, ask, what are they hiding? Who are they? What was I talking about again? In fact, several deep dives exploring the Perry-Ramsey connection and the Katy Perry Illuminati collaboration have mysteriously disappeared. But it gets weirder. The video by Dave Johnson that was seen by millions of people went viral 1 year before his account was created. What? YouTuber Lorden Arts revealed in his own video that while the Johnson expose was published in December 2014, Dave Johnson didn't join YouTube until November 2015. Is this time travel? A glitch in the Keanu? The CIA doing itself a heckin' hack? An Illuminati whoopsie-daisy? I'm sorry for implying you make mistakes, you're perfect in every way, Illuminati. Dave Johnson also proved that Jimi Hendrix is Lionel Richie, Prince Charles is Richard Branson, and Donald Trump is Joe Biden. Unless they're secretly human centipeding, I'm not sure how a living celebrity can transform into another living celebrity. In 2015, Perry performed the halftime show at the Super Bowl, with her act leading viewers to draw connections between the show's aesthetics and the 15th century underground society of Gnostic worshippers who secretly control all of the human world. Lol. And what is it about cartoon sharks and polka dot bikinis that scream secret society? Apparently, there were a lot of clues, and we missed them because we weren't watching and didn't care. But today, we start caring. Here is the theorist's proof. The flame pattern on Katy's costume honors the ruler of the underworld. Katy rides a giant lion, which equals mimicking Isis of Egypt riding a lion. Checkerboard design equals closely linked to the Freemason Society, which is a secret society, and yet every town has a Masonic hall you can rent for your birthday party. The use of pyramids, triangles, and circles in The Lion. In yet another mysteriously deleted video on the topic, YouTuber Red Silver J said that the government puts out dank conspiracies to drop our belief in real conspiracies, like the moon is made of cheese. But it is right, the moon is cheese. You can't distract me from what is really happening in the world because I wasn't paying attention to it. But I say this secret society should come out of the shadows and tell us the truth right now. Uh-oh, I gotta get this. Hey, no, I wasn't just talking about you. It was another Illuminati. As they said in the Man Hour podcast, let's give the Illuminati the benefit of the doubt. Some say that Katy Perry's work is instead demonic. Look, is it Illuminati or witchcraft or Satan? You can't have all three, you're acting spoiled. Maybe she's a nice person, but I can't get past the whole making light of brutal murders in a bop song while the victims' families are alive to hear it driving their kids to school, or hypersensualizing for an audience of 11-year-old girls. We went streaking at the park, skinny dipping after dark, then had a menage a trois last Friday night. It's a blacked out blur. Her prime audience at that time was 11 to 14. Adrenochrome. It's no wonder we have all these teen girlies squishing their blooming bods up on tiny screens when their role model was a candy-coloured clown from Pound Town. I don't hear Tipper Gore squeaking about that one. Katy Perry? Confirmed evil. Personally, I think this conspiracy should be exploring whether Katy Perry and Zooey Deschanel and Siobhan Morris are the same person. Tell them apart. Snopes calls the JonBenet Katy conspiracy Shady Perry and debunked it. But what do bunk beds have to do with anything? This is Ingrid closing the two-faced case on the Creepo-Files. Stay tuned for the Easter egg. Just a cheeky wine? What am I? 38-year-old mum? Just a cheeky afternoon wine? Choco. Paul, brown eyes. Fall, green eyes. Paul, small pudgy toes. Fuck all.